Hi everyone, my name is Bee, and today I'm going to be talking about 4 strategies that I can use in my classroom every day to intentionally develop students' oral language skills and increase their academic vocabulary. Strategy number 1 is open-ended and thought-provoking questions. Number 2 is multi-turn conversations. 3 is expanding and modeling student language. And 4 is building academic vocabulary through interactive reading and classroom conversations. So the first strategy, using open-ended and thought-provoking questions. So this means instead of asking questions that students can answer with a word or a short answer, I will practice asking questions that have students explain their thinking, make predictions, describe past experiences, and provide evidence for their short answers. So this will encourage students to use more academic language and give them opportunities to practice explaining their ideas. Our readings this week emphasize using open-ended questions, decontextualized language, active listening, and providing sufficient wait time. Kosinovich, Phillips, and Willis, in their oral language article for the U.S. Department of Education, is the source for this one. And that same resource also identified multi-turn conversations as an important way to help students develop social and oral language skills. So my second strategy is multi-turn conversations. And I want students to learn how to listen, respond, ask follow-up questions, and continue the conversation while doing so. So I will continue to use turn and talk activities, small group discussions, partner interviews, and other structured academic conversations in class. These activities give students regular opportunities to practice communicating with each other rather than relying entirely on teacher-student conversations. So my third strategy is expanding and modeling student language. So if a student gives me a short answer or a one-word answer, I'm not going to directly correct them, but instead I'm going to say, I like what you said so far, and I'm going to offer them a more developed version of what they said. So for example, if the student says the dog is scared, I would respond by saying, yes, the dog seems to be scared because it heard a loud noise. And this way I provide an example for the student of more specific vocabulary and a little bit more complex sentence structure without making the student feel that their original contribution was not strong or that it was wrong. Our readings and class session this week describe expanding student responses, also providing explanations and intentionally building student vocabulary and conceptual knowledge through conversation as strategies for developing academic language. And this was from Barnes et al. 2019 and Kosinovich 2020. So the fourth strategy that I would use is building academic vocabulary through interactive reading and classroom conversations. So I can introduce new vocabulary, explain it in context, and ask students to use it in their own sentences. And I can also have them revisit it across different activities throughout the day. The Kosinovich article encourages teaching vocabulary within meaningful contexts, giving students opportunities to actively use new words. This is important because oral language is connected to later literacy development. In the article, Language, Speech, and Hearing Services in Schools, Hugh Katz explains that language difficulties can affect reading development because reading comprehension depends heavily on vocabulary and understanding of language structures. So this week, I think the biggest takeaway for me was that oral language development should not be treated as a separate activity just to be done during language arts, but that it's something that should happen throughout the school day. And whether students are discussing a playground disagreement or explaining a math problem, analyzing a story, talking with a partner, we teachers can intentionally create opportunities for students to listen, respond, elaborate, and use increasingly sophisticated language to further their knowledge acquisition. As a teacher, I definitely do my best to create a classroom where students are not just asked to know the answer, but are encouraged and given regular opportunities to explain how and why they think the way they do. Thanks for listening.